Hello everyone and welcome to episode 155 of Classic L337. My name is Scott. I've got Dustin with me. What's going on, man?
Not much.
We have a special episode. The co-founder of Classic L337, Tony, is back on the show. What's up, Tony?
So nervous. So nervous.
It's like nervous about going home.
Yeah.
Is that possible?
It's a giant trying to do some sort of a golf pad or something. It just doesn't work.
So,
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, dude. Well, it's part of your show, so you're always welcome on. But yeah, for any of our newer listeners, Tony is the co-founder of Classic L337, like I had said. So if you ever were curious and went back to our archives to look or listen, here he is. He exists. He's no longer a ghost.
Yeah, I stopped at episode 55 and skipped 100, and then came back.
Is that the new increment?
Scott's still 51% shareholder though. So.
Oh, that's live. We have that recorded.
Dustin's
now.
48, and I'm a big old 1%. Or me and Josh split 0.5.
I was gonna say we can't cut Josh out. Although Tony, I know that you can't listen all the time, but Dustin has been fired a few times already on the show. So.
Oh yeah,
it's kind of a fluid relationship we all have. But yeah, this is
really his first day.
Yeah, we are a video game podcast. Before we jump into talking about video games, we're going to talk about what we've been up to lately. So, Dustin, man, how's the week been?
pretty good. It's I've had a pretty chill week compared to last week.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, we're recording on Thursday instead of Wednesdays. Unfortunately, your son was sick.
Yeah, Solly came down. He's had a real rough time as far as health goes here recently, and nothing serious, thank God. But he's just been like sniffly and coughy and just kind of miserable, not sleeping well at night. So
poor guy. And he's so little, you can't explain to him like, hey, it'll get better, dude. Just give it a couple days.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
He just looks at you and he's like, I'm miserable. This sucks.
Yeah.
So, Tony, what's been going on your way? What have you been up to the last couple of weeks?
Work, school, family, and small percentage of video games.
All right.
So,
well, you've had like a couple of years of video game time built up that you'll be able to talk about. So you can go all the way back to like halfway through the 360 and PS3 life cycle.
Yeah,
and catch everybody up on what you've been doing.
True. So, do you want me to catch on what you said?
No, not yet. We'll talk about
okay.
that when we get to.
Don't put me on the spot. No, it's good.
Yeah, I mean, as far as what I have been up to, golf season's kind of winding down, so that's a bit of a bummer. And Dustin, I tried to perform surgery on my phone.
How'd it go?
Not well.
Oh no.
My volume rocker no longer works.
Oh, okay.
And my power button sometimes works.
Oh no.
But my battery life is back to excellent.
It's amazing.
All right.
So now my power button and volume rocker. Okay, so what had happened was my battery started lasting just hours. It was bad. So I bought a battery from China. Came about a month later. A month later was a couple days ago. And this thing is glued together like iPhones are glued together.
I hate that.
Yeah,
I've dissected an iPhone or two, so I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so I am real bummed. There's like ribbon cables coming out of the battery. It's just like, this is no good. So I get everything replaced, and my volume down quit working. I'm like, that's okay. No. I'm like, that's okay. Because if volume up works, it on Lollipop for Android, it brings up the volume slider automatically.
Uh-huh.
So I could hit up and then just toggle on the screen what I want the volume to be. So it's like,
okay.
For a battery, I will take that sacrifice, the loss of a down volume button. Then the up volume button stopped working. Now I'm getting into troublesome territory. And then today the power button quit working. So I'm at work in work truck and using my fingernail to pry my phone back open again. To try to reconnect the ribbon cables to see if like something had come loose.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not lying. I used a little bit of duct tape because when I was pulling the ribbon cable apart, the clamp just completely flew off into my carpet, and I've got kind of a shag carpet, and it's the tiniest little white thing, and as you can see behind me, I have kind of a white carpet, so it was lost. Like, I have no idea. It could be anywhere. I'll never find it.
Oh, man.
So it's just like, oh, no. But it made me think of you because you've, like, successfully repaired iPads. You've gotten through a phone.
Yeah, I actually, my last iPad attempt didn't work out too well, and I had to redo it, but this is my second attempt.
Oh,
and
okay.
I think what happened was the first time getting the digitizer ribbon cable in, I applied too much pressure to it, and I because it's supposed to kind of like slide in like this, or like flat, right?
Yeah.
And like when I put pressure on it, it ended up bending like that. So I think I heard something on the inside, so I had to get a new one.
See, I think I might have bent some pins up by losing that clasp. So I don't think that it's always making... it's like an NES. It's just not making the connection to the contacts anymore.
You just need to get a new 72-pin connector. Throw it in there. You'll be good.
I might have Googled something similar to that. I looked to see if I could buy a little clasp from China. So, yeah.
You're going to have it delivered by Chun-Li.
By Chun-Li. And Donald Trump will get mad at me for it. But, yeah, so as far as life is concerned, Tony, before we jump into games, what exactly have you been studying? You're almost done with your MBA, so what's been the focus of it?
It's organizational management. It's kind of the standard MBA.
Okay.
And it'll just be... I had a chance to do it for free, which is why I jumped on it. And I could help out at a local college with career services, which is what I do for my day job. Scott knows. We used to work together.
Yep.
And in exchange, they would pay $50,000 for my master's degree or whatever. So 18-month program, and I used to make fun of Douchebag when he used to be on the show, because he like ditched us when he was in his master's program. And now that I'm in one, I mentioned in a video the other day, I definitely owe him an apology, because you
ditched us, man.
I know. I did.
I'm just kidding.
No, but seriously, it's one of those things where, you mix in family, kids, and then, 50-hour work weeks, and it's just like you write a paper at night and you get older. That's the key too. So like I've tried to play video games so hard during this program in the week, and so I'll finish my paper at like 11. I'm like, sweet. I used to be able to stay up till 2 playing Halo or whatever, and I literally will like sit down in a real comfortable chair, and then 40 minutes later I wake up and my thumb is like on the thumbstick moving through the menus, and I never made it into the game. So it's completely pathetic, but this is real confessions of old gamers. So, but it's one of those things, like just all those things coming together has made it really hard to do videos and to hop on the podcast and things like that. But the good news is only 4 weeks left.
It's
3.5 weeks.
Sweet.
So, once that's done, I think it should balance back out a little bit.
Yeah, so get used to this sexy voice. He'll be back on the show more often now.
Right. I did beat The Last of Us Remastered during my master's program. So I did play that. I had like a surgery earlier this year, and I was off work for a week, and I played The Last of Us Remastered and absolutely loved that game. So, I'm not a complete waste of gaming flesh.
So, well, let's jump into some news then. And then we'll chat about what we have been playing. So, I got an email from Mike T, or it was a text or something like that. And there was a PlayStation TV hack. And there was an exploit where, Dustin, it would give you all the Vita titles.
That's pretty cool.
I was going to say, nothing?
Yeah, that's cool. I'm not particularly fond of hacking things, especially using files from potentially nefarious people.
Oh, yeah.
But Yeah, I still wouldn't do it.
No, I wouldn't.
On my network.
I wouldn't hack it.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so I'm on the fence now. Don't internet. This might be a first. Dustin might actually be able to reach through fiber cables and strangle me. Because I'm tempted, or I was tempted. I don't think I'm gonna get it. But my buddy was like, "Hey, I've got this little pad thing that hacks the amiibos and allows you to switch through." I don't even know if it was a pad, but it was like a thing, like a dongle or something, and it lets you unlock every amiibo. So all the in-game content you can play with the amiibos by just cycling through them, so you don't have to actually buy them. But I had in the back of my mind, I don't want to use this thing because I'm afraid Nintendo's going to know and break my system.
Yeah.
Did you read the instructions on the website of how to do this?
No, I didn't.
It's so funny. It's like 10 steps, and all I keep thinking to myself is someone figured this out.
Right?
Someone sat down. It's like, yeah, I mean, like, create a Gmail account, download the Thunderbird email client. Now go into import this random file, change the subject line. I mean, just some like random crap, and someone's sitting around figuring this stuff out.
Yeah.
It just cracks me up.
So this has already been patched, so don't get excited if you were looking at trying to do this. Mike was a little frustrated by it, so it'll be interesting to. He's not in the chat, I don't think, but it'll be interesting to hear what he has to say about it in just a full email. I don't know. I thought it was, yeah, I'm with Tony. It was just crazy that someone figured this crap out.
I wish Sony would hack the PlayStation TV and make it run all the titles. That'd be great.
Yeah, start making games for it. Something useful with it.
Which I need to look. I think Super Meat Boy is coming out for PlayStation Plus on the Vita.
Sweet. I need to check out. I forgot that there's a new month of that coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. I haven't checked out those titles either.
So we'll have to get on that. But yeah, I just thought that was really interesting when Mike sent that over to us. I was like, oh man, this is pretty crazy. I can't believe, like Tony said, someone figured this out. But yeah, it's been patched, so no more of that. And then, Tony, have you picked up Mario Maker yet?
I have not. I haven't even looked at it hardly at all. So other than just seeing that there's lots of videos coming out about it, like,
you two are killing
yeah, I have
me.
not picked it up, but I heard you guys talking about it last week.
So there's this, and I'll link it in the description. So this guy beats the hardest Mario Maker level I can imagine beating. It was nuts, and he starts crying. He's just so overjoyed. I don't know. Have either of you ever got to that point with a game?
Have I ever cried in a game?
No. Have you cried like tears of joy, or I mean, has beating a game at any time been like one of those pinnacle things that you always remember, like for the rest of your life?
Ninja Gaiden.
Okay, yeah, I think that'll work.
That was a hard game.
That's a ridiculous.
Metal Gear Solid 4. Metal Gear Solid 4. I played without. I don't know, without looking on how to beat any of the bosses, and I just remember one of the bosses was like extremely hard. Took me like 50 attempts.
I felt that way beating Contra. It was like, yes. Because I didn't know if I could do it, but the skill level required for this Mario Maker level, like, so there's times where you are taking shells, shooting shells into other things that are falling down, and then you have to jump on the shell that you just shot that's been ricocheted. Like, it's just absolutely banana stuff. So I would definitely recommend everyone check that out.
It was
ahead.
difficult. It was difficult to the point that I wouldn't even know what to do.
Yeah.
What,
like
in Ninja Gaiden?
No. In this Mario Maker level.
Yeah, I couldn't figure it out.
I watched the video, and like, if I was playing that, I wouldn't even know what to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm the same way. I couldn't figure it out.
I imagine it's just endless hours of doing one, like figuring out one piece at a time, and then just keep replaying it, and then trying not to screw up. I don't even know how you do that.
So, yeah, I mean, as far as going, I want to go back a topic because we've got Mike T in the chat, and he says that regarding the Vita TV hack, he says, I'm frustrated because they let the Vita and Vita TV die, yet they patched this exploit that actually made it better. Also, all that email stuff was known. That was just a delivery system to get the file onto the Vita.
Oh, gotcha.
So,
That's a good point.
He's got a great point though. I mean, it's a continual point of frustration, right? Like with the PlayStation Mobile stuff, like really capable hardware that just kind of gets, it reminds me of like when Microsoft like released that Zune player, right? Like it had all better hardware than the iPod back in the day, and they just never supported it. It had like 3 games on it the entire lifespan, and they just dropped it off the face of the earth.
Yeah, it is frustrating when that happens. And now that I've got a Vita, I wish that it was supported. There's a great back catalog. There's a lot of fun games to play. And there should be more games to play, but there's not. So,
there was nothing. Oh, sorry. No, there was nothing even like mentioned about it this year at like the big conferences, was there? If I remember seeing that right.
I think just from like a streaming perspective, I don't think that they really talked about games or anything. So it's a bummer. Yeah. I guess moving on. Do you guys remember the Twitch Plays Pokemon thing that was up a few years ago? Or Twitch beat Dark Souls, man.
Twitch can do all things.
Twitch can do it all. Solve puzzles, answer the questions of the universe. I don't. Tony, were you aware of any of this Twitch Plays stuff? Do you know how that works?
No.
So, someone will set up a program and take Twitch chat inputs to make an action happen in a game. So they did Pokemon, and they had it where it would randomly select a comment that would be like attack or run. I don't know. I've never played a Pokemon. Magic, whatever. And Twitch, as a community, brute forced their way through beating Pokemon.
Oh my gosh.
Even with trolls. That would intentionally try to screw it up. So now they've done this with Dark Souls. Now, it was a lot more complicated. They had, I think maybe a voting system was used in this one, and a voting system was also used in one of the playthroughs for Pokemon as well, where they would do like a democratic vote to see what action is going to be taken. So it would do straw polls every, I don't know, let's say 30 seconds or 15 seconds or something. But yeah, and they came up with a way to make Dark Souls work in this capacity, and then it took 43 days of constantly playing, but Twitch actually got all the way through Dark Souls.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, Tony, did you ever play a Dark Souls game?
I haven't. I watched some of Dustin's playthrough on the channel, though.
So about my experience, too. I've never gotten into a Dark Souls game. I do own the first one on PC.
I let Dustin play all the hard games, and I just watch.
Yeah, no shit, right?
Yeah.
And then the last thing in the news that jumped out to me was Tony Hawk 5 came out. And it was weird. Nobody received a review copy.
That's always a good sign.
Always a good sign. Hearing Giant Bomb talk about it was real interesting. So, Tony, Giant Bomb is owned by CBS Interactive now. And,
oh, wow.
And they work with, in like the same building as GameSpot and, you know, a huge site like that. And Jeff Gerstmann was saying, yeah, no one in this building has a copy of that game. We didn't get it. GameSpot, which is bigger, didn't get it. Didn't look like IGN got a copy of it. And reviews are finally hitting, and they are bad.
Wow.
I don't know. I never got into the Tony Hawk games.
I was huge in the Tony Hawk games.
Were you?
The first and the second one really were the only two that I was big into.
Mm-hmm.
I actually just picked up Underground, Tony Hawk's Underground. I never played it. I just picked it up on GameCube for my son to play.
Is he like in trouble or something?
No. They're actually like, it's funny because the control scheme is pretty much the exact same in all of the games, you know.
Okay.
But the first two, it was like so new that it was like you always wanting to like figure out how to get to something on a roof you couldn't get to, or hit a score that you couldn't, you know, hit before. And there was something really addicting about the first couple ones, and then it kind of trailed off.
Sure.
So,
what platform were you playing those on?
original PlayStation.
Okay.
Believe Dustin, the first one was on Nintendo 64, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. And Dreamcast.
And Dreamcast, yeah. And then, I mean, they were on PlayStation as well, but I just remember playing the second one the most, probably. But I do remember, for some reason, playing the first one on Nintendo 64. So,
Yeah.
still see the sticker.
And Mike Tees says that he loved Tony Hawk 1 on the N64. He said, but I watched a stream of 5 and it looks the same 15 years later. I remember, even though I didn't get into it, I was over at my friends Jared and Amber's house, and we were all hanging out, and they were playing some Tony Hawk. And this was the first time that I saw a major game-breaking, crazy glitch in a game. And I forget exactly what they were doing, but they basically just launched themselves either down or up through the environment, and they were just stuck in between abyss, and their points kept going up because they could continue to do tricks because it thought it was in the air.
That's awesome.
And it was just kind of funny to watch. I don't know. I will never forget that. It was because I didn't really play very many games during like the PS2 era.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have been like a senior in high school. I don't know. Maybe that came out freshman in college. I don't remember. But I didn't play games a whole lot. Some wrestling games occasionally with my friends. Those N64 games were unbelievable. The wrestling ones. I loved getting like chairs and trash cans out of the crowd. It was awesome. But yeah, Tony Hawk 5, too bad. And just to go back, I don't know if Tony Hawk's Underground is any good or any bad. I was just joking. Is it any good?
Yeah, I mean, it's like playing the second one with different features.
Okay.
They try to make stuff like this big story mode where you like start out with a skateboard that's about ready to break in half, and then you like one of the professional skaters comes to your town for a demo, and then you like win him over, and then you kind of slowly build up. So it's almost like a career mode.
Okay.
But it's the same thing.
It's like the Scarface version of skateboarding, basically.
Yes, true.
Wait, there's more than one Scarface?
What?
I don't get the reference.
That he went from rags to riches in the drug world.
Oh, I just thought that there was like a whole bunch of Godfather movies made, and if you saw one, you saw them all.
All right. Or rags to mountains of cocaine in his case.
Yes. Say hello. That was a crazy movie. I remember watching that. I got to college, and my soon-to-be roommate, but he was my roommate at the time, his jaw dropped, and I had to pick it up off the ground for him when I told him I hadn't seen Scarface before. He was like, "What?" And then that scene where they're like hacking the guy up in the bathtub in like a hotel or something, I was like, "This is nuts."
Yeah.
And it had like all the 80s synth in it.
Oh, so good.
It's something else. It makes you want to play like Hotline Miami. You know, it just has that feel to it.
Yeah.
Oh, Hotline Miami is so good.
I've never played it.
What?
I know.
It's like free everywhere now. Even like, yeah. Next time I see it, I'll have to give you a heads up or gift it to you or something.
Yeah, I think I might even own it on Steam.
I was just gonna say, I bet it's in your Steam library. I feel like everyone owns that one.
I bought like 30 Humble Bundles. I don't even know if I've redeemed half of them.
Yeah. I'm in the same boat, man. So, well, as far as news goes, I think that covers it. It was kind of slow, at least for what interested me this week. It seemed like Dustin, I always like to piggyback on the Bombcast as far as news goes, but everything they talked about on the new one, we already talked about last week.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, man.
They're piggybacking off us now.
Yeah, that's right. I did get kind of sad today, though. I was going through YouTube, and I subscribed to the Giant Bomb Unarchived channel. Mm-hmm. Do you subscribe to that at all?
Hmm.
They put up streams that weren't archived on the site. And it's fans. It's a fan-driven YouTube channel. It's not officially Giant Bomb, even though I think Gerstmann might have said at one point that they're doing God's work because they're archiving all this stuff for them and putting it out there. But they did a live stream where they played the Connect all day, and it had Ryan Davis in it.
Oh.
At a Skinny Brad Shoemaker and a live Ryan Davis, and it was just really sad. It was like, oh, I just forgot how much I loved Ryan Davis. He was just, it was like putting on one of your favorite CDs that you hadn't listened to in a while. Yeah. And you're just like, oh, that's right. I loved this. So, well, Dustin, what have you been playing, man?
First off, I want to do some shout outs / thank yous because Mike G hooked me up with my memory card for my Vita, and he also sent this along with it.
Oh,
just as a surprise. It's Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
Nice.
So, Mike T, thank you very much. You're awesome, dude.
Yeah, Mike mentioned he was going to send us some stuff, so I've been checking my mailbox every day, and nothing came.
You're going to get an envelope, and it's going to be empty.
It's going to be nothing. So I don't know. Remember I told you I had trouble mailing him a speaker?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know if like I'm on some list where coming out of his part of the country, I'm just not allowed to send stuff, or he's not allowed to send stuff my way. I don't know. So, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
You'll have to let me know how Marvel vs. Capcom 3 is.
Super awesome. So now I have a 16. Hopefully what I'm thinking about doing is putting the 16 gig in my PlayStation TV and the 32 gig in my Vita.
Okay. Nice. Mike says in the chat, and he says, Scott, you're joking, right? I sent it to you and it was delivered. I'll check my garage. Maybe it was no, I'm not joking at all, man. I would have thanked you very much. I would have texted you right away and said, dude, whatever you got me was awesome. But no, I don't know what the surprise was.
And you never will.
Well, that sucks. What a
Chicken.
bummer.
Oh, but as for what I'm playing,
yes,
I actually the planets aligned, and I ended up having like 4 or 5 hours to play video games.
Really?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Was it the night of the blood moon? Did you see the blood moon?
Oh man, the blood moon of justice.
I went out and looked at it.
It's been cloudy here for like 2.5 weeks straight. So.
Yeah, there was like an eclipse and a blood moon on the same night or something. So
Dustin doesn't remember because he turned into a werewolf that night.
That's right. Yeah, I woke up the next day naked in my neighbor's garden. So.
Oh man, that's so funny. That reminds me. You ever watch the old Incredible Hulk with Lou Ferrigno?
Oh yeah.
I used to love that. Like after he would turn into the Hulk, like the police would be chasing the Hulk down, and they would see Lou Ferrigno in like an alley, and all of his clothes were ripped, and he'd be out of sorts, and they'd be like, "Did you see a giant?" And he'd be like, "I didn't see anything. I don't know what happened." You know, and they'd run past him, and I'm like, "His clothes are torn. It's him." Sorry, go ahead.
Oh yes, but my wife and her two sisters and her mom were all preparing for a baby shower.
Oh.
And we just bought Big Hero 6, so Solomon was watching that. And I sat down and I played Super Nintendo for like 5 or 6 hours straight.
Nice.
It was awesome.
Conditions were
I thought you were going to
perfect.
say, like, you finished Metal Gear or something.
No, no. Actually, I played Zombies Ate My Neighbors. Actually, gave that some real time, and that game is hard. I'll tell you that. I got to the giant baby, and he stomped me to death.
Did you ever get that far, Tony? I know you said you used to rent it.
I did get to the giant baby. So that Dustin, that game is co-op, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was gonna say because my brother, we always had to rent two-player games, so we
Yeah.
used to churn through that one. But that game, it is a hard game. You start playing it, and it sucks you in. You think, oh, this is no big deal, and it gets really hard fast.
Yeah.
So
And that's like level 5 or 6. Like there are 44, and you get passwords, but they're only like every 5 levels. So I got a password, but it would take me to like level 5, and I died on level maybe 7 or 8. And when you use your password and you restart, it's kind of like in a shoot 'em up when you die and you don't have any of your power ups anymore. You have like baseline everything, and that kind of blows. It makes it really hard. But yeah, it's great, and it's fun to play.
You got to be excited, man. Today's October 1st.
Oh, I'm so excited.
You are days away.
It has been like I said, overcast. It's been like chilly and windy, and it's like nothing but the sound of dry leaves on the ground, and Halloween.
it's coming.
Yeah, yeah, it is. Every day this month. Other than that, I played Metal Warriors.
I'm not familiar with Metal Warriors, I don't think.
That is the LucasArts giant robot game for the Super Nintendo. It's pretty cool.
I gotta Google a screenshot of it real quick.
All right. But that game is surprisingly complex for the time it came out. Like, you can do a lot of different things. You can get out of your metal suit and be your little pilot dude. You're like this big on the screen and run around. You have a bunch of different attacks. Like you have your main gun, and you have a lightsaber, like you'd see in Gundam.
Crazy, it was developed by LucasArts but published by Konami.
Yeah.
That's a cool mashup.
Rest in peace, Konami. But like every single level, you're doing something different,
Oh, cool.
and it keeps it really fresh. There's only like 7 or 8 stages,
Okay.
but because they're all different, it's super awesome. It keeps everything really fun. Mike T says Metal Warriors is an expensive game, and it is.
Shocker that you're playing an expensive Super Nintendo game.
Basically, all the ones I played were expensive. Because after Metal Warriors, I played Ninja Warriors.
Now, that one I'd heard of. I remember the Happy Video Game Nerd doing a video of it like years and years ago.
So yeah, I played Ninja Warriors. I played Dragon Warrior and Ikari Warriors and Wizards and Warriors and the Warriors on PSP. And no, I didn't really. I was just trying to name all the Warriors games that I could think of. But no, Ninja Warriors is a really good like side-scrolling beat 'em up. You have it's kind of like you know how in Turtles in Time, when you hit the attack button, like in different areas of your jump, you do different attacks.
Yeah.
It has that kind of control scheme.
Oh, okay.
So it can be really nuanced as to like all the different moves you can do. And
Yeah, I remember in Turtles in Time, I would want to do the jump up and dive kick that you could in the regular NES game all the time. But sometimes you would do that floaty kind of slash thing.
Yeah, it just depends on when you press the attack button. But it's a really cool final boss fight in that. It's actually a lot like Turtles in Time, because the boss is like in a glass protected thing, and you're like throwing enemies at him.
Nice. I've never beat Turtles in Time. A lot of people say that's the best one out of the Turtles games from kind of that era.
Yeah,
I have a copy of it, but I've never beaten it.
And actually, 4 out of my 5 games are Konami games.
Boy.
I think didn't Ninja Warriors Konami? Yeah, we'll say it is.
Might as well. I googled it as well, and it's Taito.
Was it published by Konami by any chance?
Let me do a Control F search as no. Konami is not listed on their Wikipedia page anywhere.
Okay.
So I'll go ahead and say no.
My encyclopedic video game knowledge has failed me. I'll spend the weekend reading about Ninja Warriors.
Natsume was the developer. You ever heard of them?
Yeah, Natsume. They're great.
Natsume.
They did. Oh, okay. So that's okay. So yeah, they developed Ninja Warriors, and they also developed Pocky and Rocky, which I also played.
This is a crazy connection. Natsume is a subsidiary of Konami.
What?
I'm kidding. I made that up.
Oh, okay.
That would have been nuts, though.
Oh man, the universe would have imploded on itself. I played a little bit of Pocky and Rocky. It was kind of I wanted to try it out because I bought it and played it a little bit and kind of set it up on the shelf, and that was like 6 years ago. So I was like, maybe I should play this again. But I was playing it, and you ever start a game and you realize you're not in the mood for it?
Yes.
That's basically what happened. I started playing it, and I was like, nah, I'm good.
You've talked about this on the show before. It sounds familiar. I think
it's kind of like a top-down. Think of it like a top-down shoot 'em up. If the control scheme was similar to like Link to the Past.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I'm looking at some screenshots here. It kind of reminds me. Did you ever play Dino Ricky on the NES?
I didn't know, but I think I remember you talking about it.
The Adventures of Dino Ricky. It's hard as hell. Ooh, Natsume did Wild Guns and Harvest Moon and Evo.
Evo's another really expensive game.
That's badass.
Basically, all of Natsume's games for the SNES are expensive now.
They're kind of like Atlas is another publisher that comes to mind when I think of having a bunch of expensive games.
Mm-hmm. And other than that, I played Metal Gear Solid 5.
How's that going?
Little by little, blinking away at it. I'm in Africa now.
Okay. I was listening to I think it was Mike. No. Somebody was talking about Metal Gear, and they said they weren't that far into it. They just got into Africa, was their quote.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt like you were making some good progress, right?
Yeah, I mean, for me, yeah. I don't know. I'm at around 20, and Mike said he beat his at, what, 39%, I think?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm at 20%, I think.
Okay.
If I remember correctly.
Hey, have you continued to stay more mainline instead of veering off, or have you went back to veering off?
No, I'm trying to just get through the story right now.
I'm starting to do that with The Witcher 3. I used to go through all the dialogue options, and now I'm going through just the highlighted critical ones.
Yeah.
So, but MGS5, that's cool that it's still good. Tony, have you played MGS5 at all?
I just played the whatever
Ground Zeroes?
the first release was. Yeah. I know that I'll play it at some point. Like I played Metal Gear Solid 4 was the first game I played through on my PS3 when I got it, and it was because it was like exclusive, and I had an Xbox the whole Xbox 360 that whole generation at that point, and so and Uncharted, and Heavy Rain like as soon as I got my PS3 and loved them all. Like they were really good games, but Metal Gear was. I hadn't played it since the first PlayStation, and so it was hard.
I remember way back in the day you talking about Heavy Rain. I mean, I know we're talking about Metal Gear at the moment. But I remember it was one of the first games where you had said that you watched like an intro scene and you just put the controller down and you were just like, whoa.
Well, it actually made me cry. It was the first
That's
game.
what it was.
It was the only time that's ever happened. And I had a brand new dad, and at the beginning of that game, the dad like loses his son, or his son gets hit by a car or whatever it was, and it was just, there was something about like you experience emotions the first time as a new dad, and then like seeing that, and the way that they framed that game was, I just remember like sitting there with the controller and there was a tear running down my face, and I was like, holy crap, that has never happened to me in a video game. I don't know, it was weird. So first time I've ever cried. I did not cry in Metal Gear Solid 4, maybe just a little bit from the pain it was causing me when I couldn't beat that one boss. But
Mega Man 2 was the first game that gave me a big lump in the throat. The end was so kind of somber and sad when he's like walking through, or he's like walking and they show all the cutscenes and the various like enemy powers and stuff, and then his helmet's just sitting there alone. I was like, oh man, what happened to Mega Man?
I did want to say I'm proud of you, Scott, for playing The Witcher 3. That's cool.
I would have not played it if Mike wouldn't have hooked me up.
I was just gonna say, like, you've avoided RPGs type games like that somewhat in the past, whatever people call it, like Elder Scrolls when we were all playing Skyrim, and all that stuff. And so I was thinking, like, when I heard you say that on the episode a week or two ago, I was like, that's cool. I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Yeah, it's still not my kind of game, but it's very well made. I'm enjoying it. I'm going to finish it so that I can talk with Mike about it. He's got me hooked on the ending, the idea of the ending being really cool. So I'm very excited to get to that. And I'm about 25 hours in at this point, and
oh wow,
I think it's like a 40-hour game or something like that. So it'll probably take me another couple of months, but I'll eventually finish it.
Cool.
So Tony, what have you been playing lately, man?
I do like different mobile games on my iPad off and on, because they just fit into my schedule right now. But I have been playing. I picked up Destiny again. That was one that kind of came in the middle of my MBA program, and I've always wanted to kind of revisit it. So I've started playing that again, and then I've been playing through Skylanders Swap Force with my son, and Disney Infinity 3.0 with my son. So, but he did start a Destiny character, so we're moving towards those types of games. So,
and he's like 9 now, you said?
Yeah, he's 9. So, yeah, it's Disney Infinity is actually really fun, and I'm excited for the new Uncharted game whenever that comes out, and I think if I heard right, they're doing a remastered of Uncharted. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be playing through those because I love those games a lot. So, but we just have a PS4 and a Wii U right now, so. And PC, obviously.
As far as the Disney game goes, is that like Skylanders, where it's kind of third person hack and slashy, or is it more like world building, or what kind of gameplay is it?
Yeah, there's like a toy box area that I haven't really messed with at all, and that's kind of like world building where you can design your own levels and things like that. But I think that these companies must be making a boatload of money from these action figure things, because I mean, Nintendo's got Amiibos now. Activision's got Skylanders. Disney has the Infinity series, and then Lego just launched theirs for the first time this year. Dimensions, Lego Dimensions, and so I think they just make a lot of money off of them, to be honest. But it's cool, and Disney Infinity I tend to like a bit more than Skylanders because recognizable characters, but the Star Wars series, like that's one of the guys right there. I haven't opened him yet, Obi-Wan. But it's really awesome figures if you like Star Wars, and for me, just slashing things with a lightsaber, I don't care if it's a kid's game or not, but the bosses and stuff are actually pretty challenging, so
I enjoyed Lego Undercover on the Wii U, so I can totally understand like getting into a kid's game.
Yeah, it's capitalize on some game time in the evening too by doing that. So
I'm going to throw you on the spot a little bit here. So
Okay.
it's been a couple years. So what has been like one of your games of the year that you've had over the last couple of years?
That's I don't know if that's a question, but I will say that not just because I've beaten during my
Well,
school
you cut out there for a
program.
second. What was that?
Not just because it's the one that I beat during my school
No,
program, but Last of
you cut
Us.
out on the title. I didn't hear what the.
Oh, I haven't said it yet.
Oh, okay.
So I was gonna say, I was gonna, I move my mouth sometimes without saying anything, just to screw with you a little bit. So no, I'm joking. So it's The Last of Us Remastered was like, I really enjoyed that game a lot, and I think that I think some people who did either of you guys play The Last of Us or no?
I own it. I have it sitting out to remind me that I need to play it.
Sure.
I played both the original and the remaster.
Yeah. And so the ending in that game is, I think there was some controversy around that if I read some of the forums and things like that. But for me, I love the ending because it.
Careful now.
No, I'm not gonna say anything. It 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 f's with your head a little bit, and I just for me, like, I'm like, there's no, like, how do you end something that's great? Like, I don't know that there is a way to end something that's great. And I
Yeah.
think that, I mean, look at every TV series we've loved over the past however many years. Like, maybe 1 out of 10 has ended good, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, I like something that ends with me wanting more of that universe, you know? And that's what that game did for me. Is
Nice.
it made me not just want the sequel, but made me want to understand more and wrestle through concepts more. And for me, I like that emotional response. That's why I've like gravitated away from, even if I had all the time in the world, I've gravitated away from competitive gaming
Okay.
and gravitated towards story driven. And probably that's because I've started reading a lot more as I've gotten older. And so I've really gotten captivated by some great stories and books, and I'm like, and to see that kind of being lived out in a game, like eliciting that same response.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I could give, a shit less if I'm ranked 50 in Call of Duty and I burnt, 1,000 hours on that. I'd much rather spend 10 hours learning the story. I mean, I went out and I bought the graphic novel from The Last of Us.
I was gonna ask if you went and started like digging up like spoiler casts or you
Well,
mentioned
just that.
forums and stuff.
Yeah, I read there was like a graphic novel they released. I read that. Um, I'm still playing through the portion, the DLC about the girl before, like she encountered Joel. And then you guys should both watch if you haven't yet. On Amazon Instant Video. It's free. There's like a 2-hour documentary on Naughty Dog making that game.
Really?
Huh.
I'm gonna
Put that in the
pull
show
it up
notes
right now.
Yeah, I'll
'Cause
link
it
it.
is. I don't know if you guys are like me with like documentaries or something like especially when it's about a video game is fun to watch. So.
Do you recognize that poster, Tony? I don't know if you can see it. And behind me,
Oh yeah, that's the movie we were in.
Indie Game the
Right.
movie.
Yeah.
We're in the credits.
It's called It's called Grounded.
Okay.
The making of The Last of Us. It's got 310 star reviews, and I recommend playing the game first.
Okay, I was just
even,
about to ask.
even though you can actually, I mean, you can watch it first, but it's really fun to watch. I'm putting it in the show notes right now.
Sweet. Yeah, I'll. If we don't delete that before I post it, then I will go ahead and put that in the show notes as well for our listeners to check out.
Dude, it's It, it's fun. You'll recognize the actress that plays the girl. She's been in different shows, but it's really good.
Cool.
Yeah, when I picked up the remastered version, I think I played through that like 4 or 5 times in a row.
No, it's fun.
Yeah.
Well, so Scott, do you have a PS4 yet?
No, I don't.
So anyone that's interested, you can actually go out and get that game for like $10 on digital download. There's a site. I don't know what it's called. I'm looking at it right now.
It's one of those nefarious means that Dustin's not comfortable with.
Yeah. It actually is. Oh, here it is. Game Deal Daily, and I actually bought a game from there once, and I bought a copy of that game for my friend, and they just email you the digital code.
Mm-hmm.
And you can actually download the. I mean, you own it. You'll own it then, but it's $14, and at least once a week it drops down to 10.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean,
the remastered version looks sweet. Yeah.
Yeah, and the load times are super short. And like at the end when Joel wakes up and it was just a dream, dude.
You're a dick. So funny.
But that game just F's with your head, man, near the end. Like there's just this, like it shifts into chapters, and there's just, this portion of the game where you hit it and you just, all you can think about is seeing what happens.
Yeah.
And then at the end you're just like, like
that's what I hear.
It's good.
There's a lot of people that consider that to be the runaway game of the PS3.
The best part about the documentary is at the beginning they have the head of that project for Naughty Dog, and the camera zooming in on him at the very beginning, and he says, "So, what do I think about making a new IP? Don't ever do it." And it's just, I don't know, man. I can't get enough of that unit, like that whole story, which makes me hope and pray that there's a second one because I really want to dive back into that world. So,
be like Dustin, just play it over and over.
Yeah.
And there was one thing I really liked about that was all the different notes that were in the game. Like they could take any of those stories from those notes and make it into a game.
Yeah, they really could. They really could.
I know that's like like I haven't played Skyrim. That doesn't bother me. There's lots of games. I've never played a Final Fantasy. That doesn't bother me. I haven't played The Last of Us, and it bothers me a little bit. It's one that I wish I could get off my to-do list, and it's not that long of a game. Isn't it only like 10, 12 hours or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's, when people talk about like the rinse and repeat of IPs, Madden football, Call of Duty, Halo even, it does feel like a rinse and repeat in a lot of ways. But there are certain universes that are created in someone's imagination that I wouldn't care if they made stuff till the end of time, from that, because it's just a great concept. Like, people get pissed that Star Wars was purchased by Disney, and I'm like, listen, that means we get a movie every 2 years for the next 10 years, and I'm like, same with Star Trek, people, I'm a bigger Star Trek fan than I am a Star Wars fan, and like people, they bitch about the new Star Trek movies, and I'm like, listen, people, it's like more of the story. Like,
yeah.
It would be the biggest tragedy in my mind if I never get to see anything from that again. I mean, there's not one week that goes by, even now, where I don't watch an episode of Next Generation or Voyager or Enterprise, because I love it. I just can't get enough of, the story. And
you can't like both, Tony. You must choose.
No, I don't have to choose. I'll use logic and the damn force if I want to. So. And my lightsaber, Dustin.
So, cool. Well, has that been pretty much it then, as far as what you've been up to most recently?
It is. That's all I've got.
Well, oh, so we've got a troll in the show notes. Thank you very much for that. I just now scrolled down.
Hey, just a gamer, man.
He's a gamer, man.
Just a gamer.
Uh,
Hardcore.
But I've been playing level.
Why is he wearing that sweater?
Wasn't that like a Seinfeld thing or something?
I don't know. I have no shame that I googled Fat Man Thong and put it in the show notes. I'm not scared.
I used to have to tell Josh not to put ASCII penises in there, and Tony's back for 45 minutes, and he's putting gamer dongs in there. You got show notes for us.
Dustin, 10 years from now, when that's you, buddy, I'm still going to be your friend. My favorite part about the picture, he's got the Guitar Hero.
The Guitar Hero guitars up, yeah. Dustin, that is you, man. Look at all those handguns and video games.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, what are video games?
We've got Guitar Hero. So
We got to post a link to that picture now on the YouTube thing. So
yeah,
you can see it.
And then, but as far as what I've been playing, I have been. Tony, you never got into Hearthstone, did you?
No, not really. I've played a little bit.
Do you remember back in the day? Oh, there you go. Yes. So if you're interested, go to our YouTube channel and you can check that out. Oh man, is that Windows 7 you're still running?
No, it's Windows 10, buddy.
Okay, good. We're fans of Windows 10 on this podcast.
I like Windows 10.
I was gonna tell you to upgrade if you hadn't.
I'm a big fan.
But I've achieved level 8, and this means nothing to you guys, but that's very good for me. Once you pass level 1, you are legendary, and that's very difficult to get to. And cracking the top 10 ranking was awesome. That was really, really cool.
Well, congrats. That's serious. I mean, I have a couple of the friends that play that game, and it's a freaking sweet game. Obviously, they did something right. It's really popular.
See, and you being the mobile guy, it's crazy to me that you haven't gotten into it, because I remember real vividly on our way back from Matt Suricon in Columbus, you're like, dude, we need to find a digital card collecting game so we can play it.
Yeah, I've got a lot of good ideas, man. That doesn't mean I follow through with them.
Then like 6 months later, Hearthstone comes out, and I'm like, dude, this is going to be amazing. Do you happen to remember that shitty Star Wars collecting game we tried?
Oh my gosh.
It was, Dustin, this looked like Microsoft Paint cards. Like, you could see all the edges, and it was horrible. The interface was bad. It was laggy. It barely worked, so... But yeah, I got to level 8, and I did it with a secret paladin, and this is a different secret paladin deck than what I had been using, but it was awesome. And then in The Witcher 3, I have gotten back to it, like I had mentioned a little earlier, but I was just going through dialogue options, and all of a sudden it just says mission failed. I'm like... What the hell? I didn't even realize I was doing any... Like, there was no timing. There was nothing to indicate that I was on a quest where the dialogue mattered. But I did something and failed. Like, I didn't pick up the nuance of needing to get somebody to either believe me or not believe me or whatnot. And it was like, it was a bummer. And then, guys, I've made my first Super Mario level for Mario Maker.
Do you publish those?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Well, I should say, not those. I've only got one. And you guys are clearly very excited about it, so I won't even talk about it anymore.
No, I do want to talk, because
it's too bad.
Oh my
The silence
gosh.
told me enough.
Will you let me finish? I'm trying to take a picture of your guys' face so I can make a zombie with my phone. So give me a break.
That's my bad. This is like having Josh on, because Josh likes to play MMOs while we're podcasting. So I've got you trying to make zombies. So, well, guys, let's get into emails and comments. and then call it a show. How's that sound?
Alrighty.
Good. Mike T sent us an email, and he says in the subject, Destiny, period. It's not bad, period. Hello all, just writing as a friendly reminder to Scott that the new PS Plus games for October have been announced, and they go live next Tuesday. He should buy all of them, even if he doesn't have the system. I've learned my lesson from that. I will be doing that. He says, I look forward to playing Broken Age. He said, I'm also glad I didn't buy it when it was on sale for $12. Also, I've been playing Destiny. It's not bad. Mike T. So I'm a little on the sad side, Dustin. You know, I'm a big fan of the Cartoon Retrocast.
Mm-hmm.
Mike keeps threatening to quit the show. He says at 100 episodes, he's officially done. And it's been kind of a gag over the last maybe 15, maybe 20 episodes. Well, next week will be the 100th episode. Like, it'll be interesting if it gets to 101 or not. Or maybe they'll just start doing their after show only. Like, I don't know. I hope they don't stop.
He just wants to be the Hideo Kojima of podcasts.
Yeah.
Where he just keeps saying, like, this is my last one.
This is the last one. Metal Gear 5. Metal Gear 6 will show up on Kickstarter, and he'll get $30 million, and it won't be enough.
Right.
So, yeah, Mike, thanks for writing in. I'll be interested. Keep us posted on how you are liking Destiny. It seems like a lot of people have been enjoying it. It's called the
Taken King.
Taken King? Yeah, I was going to say Fallen King. But Taken King, a lot of people really like it. They're comparing it to Loot 2.0 from Diablo. Do you guys remember when Diablo got rid of the auction house and changed their drop rates?
Mm-hmm.
So, essentially, that's what I hear in this game. That there's a better sense of progression and whatnot. So, that's cool.
I'm still early on, but I am going to do a couple more videos on that game. Like, it's fun. Dustin and I played it together once, right? We played the beta way back when.
Yeah,
and
with Michelangelo.
I like Halo, and I like the concept of it being like that single-player game. I mean, I've heard a lot of mixed reviews about the story, but it's a fun game to play.
Mm-hmm.
It's not bad.
And then we've got some YouTube comments to go through. Where do they start? Okay, here we go. Whoa. Okay, I will. Do you want me to read the one from Zarek and then? No, Dustin, why don't you read Zarek's and then I'll read Dumbass's comments.
Alrighty. Let's see here. All right. Do you want me to read the timestamps?
Yes. Go ahead.
He says, "OMG, he found the Triforce. Ganon is in trouble now."
I gotta stop you there. Dude, I didn't even... I was looking at the show notes when you were doing that.
Yeah.
So, when I went back and was uploading the video, then I saw that... So, Tony, last week... Because you listen to the audio version, right? Or did you watch
No, I watched the YouTube one.
Did you happen to see Dustin hold his hands up and it looks like he was holding the Triforce above his head right now?
No, I did not. I put it on YouTube, but most of the time I'm listening in the background.
Yeah, so I'm going there looking at it, and I'm like, oh, that brilliant guy, and I totally, whiffed on his joke. So, okay, I'm done interrupting. Go ahead.
At 6:53, I made fun of soccer, but, again, that's from someone who has no idea about anything relating to sports. Sports, it sounded like I said sporks. I know all about sporks. Ask me anytime. But he says, shots fired. I guess that Triforce has made you bold. Or should I say it gave you courage?
Oh.
Regarding GameStop not selling consoles bundled with digital copies of games, everybody says the same thing. Wow, they really want to keep those physical copies going. I think that introducing more physical copies to the market was the smartest part of why they decided to do this. How many physical copies of games are they really adding to the market? I would guess very few. I believe their motivations to be less sinister. They're removing the digital code and replacing it with a physical copy of the game. That's the coolest thing GameStop has ever done. I will never buy a console bundle from anybody but GameStop now, and I really don't like GameStop. Mario Maker bundle was a digital copy, BT dubs.
Remember, we weren't sure if it was, but we assumed it probably was.
Yeah. That was a real missed opportunity there. They could have kept the tradition going.
Yes.
I wonder, when was the last time that they had a pack-in Mario game? It would have to be, what, Super Nintendo, right?
No, the Wii U came with Nintendo Land. At least mine did.
It wasn't
only the advanced one
The
did.
deluxe one? Okay.
Yeah.
And even that wasn't a true Mario game, though, right?
No. So, I mean, as far as like you get probably Super Nintendo. I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
Like the 64 didn't come with anything.
Oh, yeah. Because I remember saving up all my money for a 64 and then being like, ugh, now I have to find a way to get a game.
Yeah. My GameCube came with the Zelda Collector's Edition that had the first 2 NES games and then the 2 64 games. But again, that was a bundle, but it had a physical copy to it.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
He goes on to say, I really hope that the VAG goes on strike. Let's introduce some new blood. I'm tired of the same old voice actors in every single video game. Someone hire me to be a voice actor. I'll be a scab. When you were talking about Steam, you reminded me of something, Scott. We should friend up on Steam and play something sometime. I have over 170 games on Steam, so I'm sure we have some stuff in common. I think my current Steam name is something I'm not going to read on YouTube. Although it's in the comments, so if you really want to stalk him, you'll have to do a little bit of work.
We are now friends on Steam, so yes, Zarek will definitely play some games together.
Word. He goes on to say, thanks, Dustin. Now I'm thinking of rewatching Walking Dead to prove to myself that I wouldn't change my mind. I was really happy when certain characters died. I find it hard to believe my feelings will change on those characters. I'm challenging myself. By the way, I'm one of the few people who thinks Carl shouldn't die. I know he's annoying right now, but what kid isn't at some point in their life? I want to see him grow up in the show. I hope the last episode flashes forward 20 years and shows how awesome he becomes. He could be all grizzled and hard. Maybe give him a big cut across his face in the last couple of episodes so you can see the scar when it flashes forward. That would be cool. I always thought that he would be like the John Connor of the Walking Dead universe.
Yeah, because John Connor was pretty annoying as a teenage kid.
Yeah, although I didn't get terribly annoyed with Carl throughout the show.
I'm still like a season and a half behind, so I'm gonna plug my ears.
Okay. In season 2, he was a little annoying, but I think he was most annoying. It wasn't that Carl was annoying; it was that his parents were annoying because they weren't being parents to him. Okay. That was kind of a bummer. But yeah, I don't have a problem with Carl at all, especially now in the 4th and the 5th season. I think he's awesome.
I did not think Wesley Crusher was annoying in Star Trek. I do think that Carl's annoying.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Let's see. At 41-minute mark, he says, I got it. It made me smile. Scott's reaction made me burst out laughing. I think that's when I said something about Andrew Ryan and Rapture.
Oh, yeah, I think you're right.
He goes on to say, Shovel Knight is on my backlog. I feel like a bad gamer.
You are.
I agree with you with shout-outs. Shout-out is an activity. It sounds better. Lastly, I'm doing a Mega Man run. You might be interested in that. It's partially inspired by your Contra run. I forgot to mention that in the video, though. Oh, yeah, there's also no way I'm going to do a full no-hit run. I'm going to do my best to not die once. I'll most likely just beat it without continuing because I'm sure that I'll die sooner or later. I did beat it without dying as a teenager. I think I still got it.
Nice. And everyone, that's Zarek. Zarek's gaming channel. Xearrik is how you spell Zarek. He's awesome. There's a lot of energy in his videos. I love him. So.
And he probably has the best thumbnail on YouTube.
Yes. Tony, are you looking at our YouTube comments by chance?
Well, I've been commenting the last couple of weeks, so yes.
Have you seen the cat avatar?
Space Cat.
Space Cat.
I'm looking right now. So sorry if you hear a video start in the background. I'll try to. What's recent? Is it last week's podcast?
Mm-hmm. He's commented on the last, like most of our recent ones.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
But while you're looking at that, I just wanted to get your reaction to the best avatar on YouTube. Our good buddy, yeah, see, isn't that awesome?
Yeah,
I
that's great.
I don't really care for cats very much because I'm allergic to them. And my sister's got a real bitchy cat, so I'm like, eh. But I love that cat. That cat could hang out with me. So, Demez says, Scott, dude, I checked my 2 Mario Maker levels last night, and they had 40 users try them. Only 1 finished them both, and that was you. You are clearly hardcore for beating my levels. I promise you, though, the 3rd level will be easier, not so punishing. I'll make it kind of a long adventure level to give you a break. Thank you. His levels were crazy hard. Also, we got a tweet from Kevin, our Canadian correspondent, and he said that he didn't think his levels were hard, but it took his buddy a while to beat them. Dude, I thought his levels were really hard, so he must be a much better Mario player than me. Because, geez, if he didn't think those were hard, holy crap.
Are the Paranerds still around?
Unfortunately, no, they are not. But the same Kevin.
Okay.
Same dude.
Hi, Kevin.
He still writes into the show and interacts with us on Twitter a bunch. So he's doing good. He's a new dad. I think his daughter's like 6 or so months old now. So he's got all that kind of stuff going on. And then Dumez, yeah, absolutely. She's very cute. If you look on our Classic Elite, like since you have the password and stuff, if you go into our Classic Elite Facebook and look at like who we're friends with, he has pictures of her, and she's a very cute girl. But Demez also says, I love that GameStop is not going to sell bundles with download codes in them, as long as it pressures companies to release bundles with the actual game. Yeah, I'd agree with that. And then he also clarifies, huge ha-has, capitalized. I knew you were saying shout-outs is a new kind of internet word. Just saying the grammar issue for giggles and fun. Hearing how weird shouts out sounds. So, and then Tony, your buddy Jake Daly of the Jake Daly Show. He doesn't really have a show, Tony. But
it's the Daily Jake.
It's the Daily Jake, sorry.
Yeah.
Starting soon. But Jake, this makes me feel a little uneasy. I hope he enjoys his purchase. But Jake says, just picked up a Wii U bundle the other day. Came with Mario Maker and the Modern Mario 8-bit amiibo. So far, I can't put the game down, and it's been tempting to call off work just to play. Enjoying the game, Scott. You really pushed me to pick this one up. See, that when someone's like, I bought it based on your recommendation, I get anxious. I'm like, oh no. But he said he can't stop putting it down. So I asked him to put any levels that he makes in the notes, and I'll gladly play them. I put if you're interested in playing my level, go to the episode 154 comments, and I reply to Jake with my level. It's just a bunch of jumping. See, I had to talk about it. And then also, this guy Tony wrote in. Tony, should we have you read your own comment? No, that'd be weird.
Well, I wasn't going to write in until I wasn't going to write in until you called me like a hair on the ass or something. I don't remember what it was.
No, it's like an old man saying, like to get motivated. You've heard it before.
Oh, it's so funny. I'm listening to that and I'm like, what did he just say? No, I have heard it. I just thought it was funny. Oh, because you were just like something like, I don't know what it was.
I think it was something along the lines of, well, Tony got a hair up his ass and started listening to us again.
Yeah, it was. And I was like, oh, give me a break. No, I'm joking. But I just talk about Final Fantasy. You had mentioned that you've never really played them, and for me, it's like one of those things. Like in a different life, I would have played through every one probably. If that makes sense.
It does.
Completely love the universe. Completely, I played through Final Fantasy. I played through some of 3, bits and pieces of 7, some of 13, but I just never have found the time investment to like spend that much time on it. They're really long, and I don't know. JRPGs is one of those things like I wish I would have played them as a kid, like because I feel like I probably would have been a big fan. Like everything about them, I think is really cool. It's just, I don't know. That's kind of a dumbass comment. It's like Landry's like, I love Sting, not really for his music, but no, no. But I don't know. And then I just talked about you. You mentioned Video Connection, that you remembered it, and I always thought Blockbuster sucked too because it was way too expensive.
That was exactly how I remember Blockbuster.
We had in the town I grew up in, was a really small town, so we had a Video Connection, then we had like the grocery store / pharmacy, like you talked about, rented there was 20 movies. And then there was this other one called Cat Video, which was on the other side of the tracks. And it was worst case scenario, you headed to Cat Video, if you just had to have something.
Yeah.
But it just brought back a lot of memories. And then Dustin, I gave you a shout out thinking that you could start a video rental store not to make money, but to do a reality TV show that would develop into a cult phenomenon and would result in mass riches and bonus XP for you. So just because that comment you made, Dustin, about I think if I lose my job or whatever, I'm going to start a video store, made me laugh out loud. I thought it was awesome. So,
and then you also said that I need to use a site called gethuman.com.
Oh yeah.
What does that give you, customer service numbers of escalations, or how does that work?
Yeah, it has all of the. It's like a site that vets out the back doors to get the customer service faster. And so it'll be to get Walmart customer service, dial this number. And then as soon as you start hearing a voice, hit 588 3.
Gotcha.
It maps your prompts for you, so you don't have to guess to get through to a real person. And then they also have this feature I've used twice with really big companies. I used it once with AT&T. That's why it made me think about that with you. But you can actually sign in with your Gmail account to the site, type in your phone number, they'll make a phone call for you, and actually get someone on the line and then ring you.
Oh.
It's pretty sweet.
Cool.
When you have to do those horrible freaking phone calls.
Yeah. And I'm considering upping my internet speed, so Dustin, I won't be doing that online. I'll be calling in. So.
I've got it mapped out for Time Warner. I know that you don't like Time Warner anymore, but I've got it mapped out. Every year, once a year, my bill goes back up. Mm-hmm. And so I call them. I get the credit back, and I say, I just want to cancel cable because we have the basic cable like you do. I said I want to cancel cable, and I want to go down to the lowest speed internet. And they say, okay, well, let me transfer you to someone who can help you with that. And they're really transferring you to the person that doesn't want you to leave.
Yeah.
And then you say, well, I mean, if you could get me into that deal today, I might stick around. Can we just skip the BS and give me back my same package I have?
Yeah,
which is what they do. And then you hang up the phone. And you're like, oh, you're so awesome. And then you tweet them and say, you guys are so cool. And then you do it again next year.
Yep. So. Yeah, and Mike T's commenting that Tony knows how to do it. Yeah. Tony's you've always had a knack for being able to dig up that information and be able to get to the person that you need to. It's amazing. So yeah, well, I think that's going to do it for this episode, guys. Tony, anything else you wanted to say before we give our farewells and take off?
No, thanks for having me back, Dustin, Scott. You guys are awesome. I love that you kept the show going, and I feel very thankful that you had me back on. So I hope that I can join you again soon. I would like to, and I did do some videos this week, so
yeah, man, you've been rocking them out.
Feels kind of good to slightly get back in that groove, and so thanks for never severing me completely from the show.
It's been so long that it's probably nostalgic for you. You're like,
It is
oh,
what
this is.
it is. It's fun, and I love hearing like some of the new fans that you got. And I mean, man, Scott, when we used to do the show, we used to freak out about like when someone would send an email.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, Dustin was the first person that ever wrote into the show. Remember that?
Oh
About Extra Life.
yeah, about that stuff. Yeah. No, we had like Kaiser wrote in, and Carl got a hold of us, and
Oh yeah, those guys.
remember him? Yeah. He's still
Love that
doing
guy.
stuff on the internet. I loved him.
Well, I talked to Carl the other day on Facebook. Actually, I hadn't talked to him in a long time because I got a Windows phone and he's a big Windows phone user, and so
Oh, gotcha. So both of you, out of the 3 total that there are, could get together and talk about.
yeah.
How is a Windows phone? I mean, now that you're using Windows 10, it probably syncs everything pretty well.
Dude, it's actually not that bad. I my Android, I had an LG G2. We do prepaid, so we don't have we have to buy our own phone, and so like I'd gotten Amy and I LG G2s and they worked really good, but the battery's not user replaceable. So when it started like with what yours was doing, I had taken apart iPhones and I was like, I'm not effing with this crap,
Yeah.
And so I was just like, I really just don't I use a tablet. I use my iPad for mobile gaming. So my phone is really just for work these days. And so I was like, I can get this Windows phone for, we use Office 365 at work. I've got the Microsoft Band there, which is pretty cool. And yeah, I mean, it's fine. It works fine for what I need it to do. It sucks in some ways. It's not as streamlined as, Android and iPhone. But yeah, it does what I need it to do, and that's all I care about. So,
Cool.
But thanks for having me on. I hope to join you again soon.
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, I guess just want to thank Dumez very much and Zarek for writing in. We got to thank Ben Landis very much for letting us use his song Through the Forest as our intro music. And we are on Twitch. Just search Classic Elite. We're on Stitcher. We're on iTunes, Facebook, Twitter, and most importantly, YouTube. I think I might have said that, but if not, youtube.com/Classic Elite. You can watch our podcast. You can watch our gaming videos, all that fun stuff. Outro music this week is a phenomenal song. I know I say that often, but I think I've got a good knack for finding good chiptune music to play, and I got really into this song over the last 2 weeks. It's from Zabutom, and it's a song called Escape from his new album Redux 34. It's fantastic. It's like some guitar and chiptune in it. It's got a nice like crunch and a real cool kind of build up towards the end. So hopefully you'll stick around and enjoy listening to that. Thank you everyone very much for listening, and we will see you next week for episode 156.
Boosh.